This video is not sponsored by any dashcam company. However, I would like to thank Incogni for sponsoring this video. I will tell you more about them in a few minutes. I reviewed 10 dashcam companies' privacy policies, then bought and permanently installed 2 different dashcam systems in my own car. I did that because I realized something important while I was researching this video. The privacy risk is not the dashcam itself. It's what happens when that camera, microphone, and GPS chip connect to a smartphone app and/or a cloud service. If you are thinking of joining the 30% of U.S. drivers who use a dashcam, you have a lot of options from which to choose. You can spend anywhere from under $10 to nearly $600 to put a camera in your car that records your trips as you drive. What are the privacy risks of putting a dashcam in your car? BlackVue dashcams have been criticized because certain cloud sharing settings could expose users' GPS locations along with their video and audio feeds to the public. And dashcam maker Samsara paid nearly $4 million to settle a lawsuit over alleged biometric privacy violations. And if 100,000 Flock surveillance cameras around the country aren't bad enough, Flock is wanting to partner with a dashcam company to get trillions more license plate images per month. In this video, I will compare the privacy policies of the 10 most popular brands of dashcams, and I will show you my video test results of the 2 cameras I permanently installed in my car. I will also explain why I installed 2 independent dashcam systems in my car. I am Dr. John Padfield, an engineer turned state representative turned business professor. There are many reasons a person may want to install a dashcam in their vehicle, such as protection from false claims after an accident, evidence of vandalism or vehicle break-ins, or documenting road rage incidents. The simplest and least expensive dashcams have a single camera that mounts to the inside of your front windshield and records what is happening in front of you. The next step up are camera systems that include both a front windshield and a rear windshield camera to record what is happening both in front of you and behind you. Then there are camera systems that also include 1 or more cameras to record what is happening inside of the passenger compartment. Beyond the number of cameras, there are differences in resolution, frame rate, wireless connectivity, the amount of memory included with the camera, and the size and quality of the image sensor in the camera. But to me, the biggest issue is which camera will best protect my privacy, because I don't want my location and video and audio stream being stored in the cloud. As the coffee cup says, there is no cloud, it's just someone else's computer. The North American dashcam market is expected to be about $1.3 billion in 2026, and according to the market share estimates I found, the 10 largest manufacturers control roughly 87% of that market. Garmin appears to be the largest player in the dashcam market with roughly 16% market share, while Cobra appears near the bottom of the top 10 list with around 3.5% market share. All 10 manufacturers make dashcams that can either be wirelessly connected via Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, or can be operated in a local-only mode, meaning there is no app pairing, no Wi-Fi connection to your phone, no cloud account, no GPS uploads, and no remote access. Simply put, your data never leaves the device unless you physically remove the microSD card. Before we get into the rankings, here is the single most important thing to know. If you never connect your dashcam to Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, an app, or the cloud, almost any dashcam instantly becomes much more private. The privacy differences really begin when you connect it, and in a moment I will share how their privacy policies compare. Some people mistakenly believe if you aren't doing anything wrong, you don't need to worry about your privacy, but nothing could be further from the truth. Your personal data is constantly being bought and sold by online data brokers. This data includes your name, home and email addresses, phone numbers, marital status, hobbies, political and religious affiliation, names of relatives, birthdays, anniversaries, and the list goes on. This is nothing new. It has been happening for years. What is new is how AI is now being used by bad actors to take all this data about you and turn it into highly targeted scam text and emails. Today, scammers are using AI to look up and spoof the phone numbers and email addresses of your friends and relatives to send you messages that appear to come from people you know. And if you have ever used the name of a relative or a birthday or anniversary as a password, your personal information could be used to hack into your online accounts. If you have ever offended someone online, even accidentally, your personal data could be used to find your home address and swat you. The bottom line is you really need to get your data removed from these online data brokers. I made a video last year showing you how you can do that yourself, but realistically, it is way too time-consuming for most people to contact hundreds of individual data brokers to request they remove your data. That's why I am happy to partner with Incogni. With Incogni, you fill out a profile and provide them with some information that data brokers already have about you, such as your address and phone number. Then you authorize Incogni to contact data brokers on your behalf to demand that they remove your data. Incogni's data removal practices have been verified by Deloitte, who confirmed Incogni successfully removes data from over 420 data broker websites. Go ahead and check out the link on your screen right now, or find it at the very top of the description box. Use my code REFORM to unlock an exclusive 60% off the annual plan, plus a 30-day money-back guarantee. The most private way to use any dash cam is to simply not connect it to your phone or vehicle and only store the video on a local microSD card. If you do that, it really doesn't matter which camera you use because you retain complete control over all your data. But that also means sacrificing the convenience that comes with using your dash cam with a smartphone app. The following 5 slides summarize my findings from the privacy policies of the 10 most popular brands of dash cam. After that, I will share my test results from the 2 camera systems I purchased and permanently installed in my car. If you are going to use your camera with a smartphone app, I highly recommend that you go with the VIOFO camera because their privacy policy is the gold standard. They do not collect any data. If for any reason you don't want a VIOFO dash cam, in my opinion, ROVE, Rexing, and Vantrue would be in a virtual tie as the next best alternative, as their apps collect less data than the remaining 6 brands. In addition, ROVE specifically says they do not use advertising identifiers. I would suggest using caution with Tier 3, which includes Garmin, Nextbase, and Thinkware cameras, because at this tier, companies are starting to get into collecting much more data, including video and audio streams, as well as your speed and location. I put REDTIGER in Tier 4 because it collects both persistent identifiers, such as device ID, as well as diagnostics linked to the user, along with precise location and videos. And finally, I put BlackVue and Cobra/Drive Smarter in Tier 5, because BlackVue's history, with some settings allowing user data, including audio and video files, to be seen by other users online, and Cobra/Drive Smarter collects a lot more personal information, including medical and insurance data. I am not saying that any of these companies are misusing that data, but I am a big believer in data minimization. Unless I agree that a company needs a certain piece of information, I simply won't give it to them. So which cameras did I purchase and install in my car, and why did I install 2 completely separate camera systems in my car? This past January, I installed the VIOFO A229 Pro dual camera system in my car. This camera records 4K video through the front windshield and 2K video out the rear windshield. It also has very impressive low-light performance thanks to the high-end Sony Starvis 2 image sensors. These sensors give the camera better dynamic range, better light sensitivity, and less motion blur than many other image sensors. This is my primary camera, and I have it set to record the whole time my car is running. And it has a parking mode which captures what is going on outside of my car when my car is parked. I intentionally turned off the microphone on this camera so it will not record conversations I have with passengers, and I chose not to purchase the in-cabin camera that goes with this dash cam because I do not want to video record myself and my passengers when I'm driving. My second camera system is the Vantrue N5S 4-channel dashcam. This camera system also uses the Sony Starvis 2 image sensors for exceptional image quality. But unlike the VIOFO, both the front and rear camera modules are dual cameras, so they capture the passenger compartment from both the front and the back of the car in full HD resolution. These passenger compartment cameras capture very high-quality video of everything that happens inside the passenger compartment. And thanks to all four cameras having Sony Starvis 2 image sensors, they all capture high-quality videos even in the dark as I was driving home from a Costco run. I also have the Vantrue dashcam set up to record audio. So the last question I want to answer is, why do I have two dashcam systems in my car? The simple answer is they serve two entirely different purposes. I use the VIOFO constantly to record the road in front of me and behind me while driving and what is going on around my car when it is parked. Because the VIOFO dashcam doesn't have any interior camera and I have turned off the audio recording, I am comfortable using its app, which doesn't collect any data. I use this camera all the time. However, the sole purpose of the Vantrue camera is to record my interactions with anyone who approaches the driver's side window. I intentionally angled the front interior camera to include the driver's window, and I have it set to record audio. I leave this camera turned off all the time, but if I am stopped and someone approaches my window, I simply press one button for 2 seconds, and both the audio and video of my entire interaction will be recorded in 1080p. Having a dedicated camera system permanently wired into my car just to record potential interactions at my window might seem like overkill, and a year ago I would have agreed. But things have changed as my audience has grown and I have been exposing the surveillance infrastructure being built across America without our knowledge or consent. One way I have been exposing the surveillance state is by traveling across the country on my Brush Fires of Freedom tour. I have 8 events scheduled across the Midwest, Florida, and Colorado between now and the end of June. Then I have 19 events scheduled across 16 states between July 16th and August 11th. Visit brushfirestour.com for details or to volunteer to help out on setting up and promoting these events. My friends at DFLOC are planning a National Week of Action against automated license plate readers the week of August 16th, and I will be speaking at their rally in Atlanta, Georgia. Visit knoWALPRs.com for more information. I hope this video has been helpful to anyone considering purchasing a dash cam. Are you comfortable constantly recording yourself and your passengers inside of a vehicle? Do you have any other suggestions on how to use a dash cam in a privacy-protecting way? Thanks again to Incogni for sponsoring this video, and I can't wait to read your comments.